Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today we're looking at the Baume Mercier Classima Chronograph, 42mm in polished stainless steel. You can see this Classima Chronograph on our website, watchyouwant.com. Purchase it there if you like, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. Now I want to emphasize that 42mm across the round of the case, beautifully polished with a stepped and sharply defined bezel. This Classima Chronograph punches way above its weight in terms of style and substance. I received some requests for reviews of more accessible mechanical watches lately. I've broken out some Oris reviews, and I think this Baume Mercier is a great way to continue that theme. It's beautifully finished with an upscale vibe and vintage inspirations. At the same time, it does have modern proportions and many, as I'll call them, surprise and delight features. I want to talk about the fit a little bit because that's critical. It's actually a very compact 13mm thick, so while the case appears to be a little bit squat, it's actually quite compact, being only about as thick top to bottom as a modern Rolex GMT. You can see that the step of the bezel, that strong character line outboard of the crystal, actually gives the watch a little bit of an up and over assistance when you are pulling a tighter dress cuff or sleeve over its top. The lugs, which thrust down sharply and actually begin the curvature of the strap around the wrist, allow the 49.5mm lug-to-lug span to wear quite compact. It's a beautifully finished case on a thoughtfully designed watch, and I have to say that on the wrist, it really does feel a treat. It has sufficient heft to remind you that you're wearing a luxury product, but it's never overbearing, and of course, due to those sharply sloped lugs and an unconstrained flexible strap, it's an easy fit for a smaller wrist. Now, the strap is of excellent quality, featuring a monotone stitch and a dark brown rectangular scale alligator leather on the top, with a nice soft and supple tan calfskin on the bottom. To our caseback shot, this is after all a solid caseback watch, underneath a unidirectional automatic winder. I'll talk about the movement in a moment, but first let's navigate our way to the deployant clasp. Now it is a twin deployant, so it opens up in 2 dimensions and is beautifully finished inside. The double deployant clasp on a smaller wrist is the better option. It has that double fold that makes it easier to close on a smaller wrist rather than that one huge up and over that always seems to wind up taking a bite out of skin on a smaller wrist. And believe me, I've known that pain. I'm sure you have too. None of that here. Moreover, the clever design of the buckle itself allows it to look like a pin buckle when the strap is completely closed, preserving the vintage imagery proffered by the design of the case and the dial. And you can see that the dial truly is a highlight. Now, it's very cool in appearance, very conservative. If you're looking for something that's upscale without being bombastic or abrasive, you've found your watch. But all of the information you could want in a modern chronograph is here. Now, you can see each one of the sub-registers, which is individually cut and calibrated, contrasts nicely with the plane of the dial, and there are hand-applied individual polished raised indices at each one of the hour stations, so although somewhat austere at first glance, there's actually a great deal of depth and texture here. Gorgeous, elegant, early 50s inspired Foy-style hands really complete the look, and of course, we'll start the chronograph. You have a 3-register chronograph that's decidedly a little bit more modern than the era that this watch references, with chronograph hours, minutes, and seconds. You also have a discrete date window beneath the Baume Mercier marquee at 3 o'clock. Now, it does feature a quick set function, just as the movement, which is based on a classic Valjoux 7750, does feature a hacking seconds function, so you can stop the seconds precisely synchronized to an atomic clock or a known accurate reference timer. Now, with automatic winding, 25 joules, a 42-hour power reserve, hacking seconds, a quick set date, and of course a chronograph, the king of complications, this is a very practical watch. Perhaps its only practical limitation is that it is a 30-meter or 3 ATM water-resistant watch, so plenty for getting caught in the rain or splashing. Perhaps if you're washing your hands and the water happens to strike the watch, you're okay. But this isn't one for diving. For that, you're going to want a classical dive watch, in which case you have many, many vintage options. But truly affordable, accessible, beautifully finished, and thoughtfully designed full-featured chronograph watches are a little bit harder to come by. Every element of this watch, from its 2-tiered pushers to its beautifully knurled crown to its wonderfully spare and minimalist dial, speaks to the attention to detail and the value that Baume Mercier brings to the table. You can see this Baume Mercier Classima chronograph, 42mm in polished stainless steel, on our website, watchyouwant.com.